What are you doing?
Grace is mentally telling me where she hid the van keys.
The creator of The Mentalist, Bruno Heller, I understand, based the character on me. So if you want to know what I do, I'd watch The Mentalist, it's great. Hi, I'm Derren Brown, star of Derren Brown's Secret, currently on Broadway, and I'm here looking at clips of magic and hypnosis and illusion on TV and in the movies. This is a real thing, and I do it in my show, and it's called muscle reading. And the idea of muscle reading is based on the fact that if somebody is concentrating on a movement or a direction, they will make a tiny movement in that direction themselves. If you just feel resistance one way, you'll feel a bit of ease and encouragement the other way. So you can start with something as simple as that, as left or right, and then you can start to move to something that's hidden in a room. I love that particular scene because it's just sort of about the sadness of magic and the problem of how you get people to care about it. The best magicians, I think, make the performance about something else other than just look how clever I am, look at what I can do, which is the mistake this otherwise technically brilliant magician is making in this, and the reason why his audience is so small, and why the kid is just only interested in how the trick's done, because ultimately then that's all that's left, isn't there?
Excalibur's blade was fixed in stone. And there it stayed.
So here you've got a magician who is making a human connection, and the human connection really is about power. The guy with the medals and that sense of pomposity and everything has been burst by this very quiet character and this trick. Even though we think, okay, it's just a big magnet under the floor or whatever, it kind of doesn't matter. There's just something very human going on there, which is great.
Get all over me, because the closer you think you are, the less you'll actually see.
I'm gonna nail you.
I used to do a lot of pickpocketing as part of my act, so I can see where this is coming from. I think in this particular film, what kills it for me is the cockiness. So like Edward Norton in The Illusionist just stands back and lets it play out. He withholds everything. Here you've got a guy weirdly being cocky, but to who? Like, I don't quite understand. So I guess that's just the nature of the film. It's a good clip because in the scene he's got lots of other people all trying to escape from straitjackets too, and they're rolling around and you see all this sort of stress, and he's just standing there really quietly and does it seemingly without any effort at all. So Houdini was popular around the time of the Great Depression, and that idea of escaping from shackles, again, is such a resonant idea at that time when people were feeling very constrained.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. 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 Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
I remember doing this as a kid. It doesn't quite look like that when you do it. There's an old thing in magic. If you make something move sideways, that's a psychic power, right? That's telekinesis. If it goes up in the air, it's magic, it's a trick. It taps into the idea of obviously raising from the dead. I guess that's part of where it originally comes from as an idea. But then also rising above our problems and so on. And I think that's the reason why levitation has remained a compelling magic plot for so long.
Indeed, many of you may be familiar with this technique, but for those of you who aren't, do not be alarmed. What you're about to see is considered safe.
Yeah, the Prestige. It's a great trick. It's a great theatrical trick. I love that idea. For me, it's let down by the fact that it kind of breaks the rules. First of all, you're watching magic tricks play out that are being shown to be magic tricks but are relying on CGI, which I remember really throwing me when I watched the film. And then the twist is that there was real magic going on, which seems sort of dissatisfying. Long history of rabbits in magic, which apparently goes back to a woman called Mary Toft, and then later it became pulling them out of hats. I think the real reason though why they get used is that they're very docile, like doves. If you put them in a dark place, they just go to sleep, which is what you want if you're hiding a rabbit. The other interesting part of this for me is the magician, and that kind of that costume, which absolutely plays into a kind of Orientalism around at the time, which was this strange, nowadays downright offensive view of the East, because it was sort of unknown, and anything that's just a little bit unknown becomes very quick fodder.
What's the matter? I feel from your face you're freaked by the flow of blood, which is fully fixable in a snap by focusing and following the flow of my words as you're flowing and floating, which is why you're focusing on my command. You got this far in life by listening to one voice, the voice in your head. This is that voice. Look at the light. Listen to your own voice.
I started off as a hypnotist, so this kind of stuff is known to me. And the interesting thing about hypnosis is it's so different from person to person in terms of what you experience. You can never really climb inside someone's head and say what's going on, so you never really know what it is or exactly what's making it work. All you have is the ultimate behavior, whether the person does what they're told and doesn't seem to know why they were doing it. And this thing of him clicking the fingers is interesting because it's a real hypnotic trope, the idea of doing that. I don't quite buy it in that because I think it would be distracting, and that probably oversells what hypnosis is and what it can do.
Don't you wish that you had a quarter for every time your parents told you to clean behind your ears? Yeah. Well, there's one. And yes, oh, there's another one.
This is the curse. This is like the bad world of magic that's nothing other than posturing. And at best, how did he do that? Or how did he, hide that coin so I couldn't see it for a bit?
Number 55.
No fucking way! That is unbelievable! How did you do that?
How did you know who he was gonna pick?
We told him to. We've been telling him all day.
From the moment he left his hotel room, we've been priming him, programming his subconscious. He's been seeing the number 55 all day long. On the elevator, in the lobby, even the stick pin on the doormat.
This is based on a thing that I did a few years ago with a set of advertisers, and they had to make a poster, a taxidermy company, so design a poster for a taxidermy company, and they came up with something, and then I had predicted it, so when they revealed it, I showed my one, which wasn't identical, but it was kind of basically the same idea, and then we showed how we did it, which was exactly this. So their journey to the office was set up with protesters and people crossing the road and signs and everything. So yes, I mean it can work. It needs a little bit of sort of enhancing too, and I think when you show something on TV you tend to show the visually strongest bits. So yes it can within certain boundaries. The mistake that films often make, very commonly, is there's a sort of a blurred line between the magician doing a trick and then slowly moving on to the dark side where actually he starts doing it for real. Which just doesn't really make any sense. Because if you strip away all the slight sadness about it and the cliches about it and the posturing, there is something really interesting. And for me, that's what I've always tried to bring out, because I think it's so much better than it tends to be shown as.